Next, we have Carter Dunbar, who's with ID Automation. He's their Director of Product Marketing and Alliances. Carter, I think you're here. I think you can share. Well, if you want to share screen, you can do that yourself. Or do you want me to go back to sharing image of you? Go ahead, Carter.
Hey, Lonnie, how's it going? I can absolutely share screen. That's fine.
Let's do that. Yeah, okay. All right, and do you just want to present and have me go off video, or how do you want to play
it? Yeah, I can do that. I just need the ability to share, which there it is. Give me just a second to pull this up.
Okay, I'll let you know when we see it. Okay, good, we see it.
Awesome. Thanks, Lonnie. So yeah, my name's Carter Dunbar. I am with Identity Automation. We are the digital identity platform for education, and that's a bit of a loaded term. So we are spending a lot of time talking through what digital identity is, because the last 18 months has really changed the definition of what that is and the impact of digital identities and just technology in general in education. So the use case I want to focus on to start.
Carter, just you know your camera's not on. Do you want to share camera too?
No, that's actually
okay, good. Just the screen. Okay.
Yeah. So use case to start with, as far as what digital identity is for education, is from a student perspective. So with a new enrollment, traditionally we have looked at identities as being accounts, and really we need to sync accounts and we need to provide access. That's what it has been. But what COVID has really forced upon us is we have digital identities that are really complementary to our physical identities and our physical self. And they are right there with the onboarding process for new students, as well as employees and even parents. But so from an enrollment perspective, when a new student comes into a district, when they join a school, they have an immediate need to access any devices, course materials, email accounts, web logons, anything that has a username and or password, but anything with any kind of digital content that is relevant to them getting into education, they need that the moment that they walk in the door. Otherwise, they're losing seat time and they're losing the ability to have an equitable education. So one of the other issues that they run into is the wait time. So processes don't happen together and they're not immediately available. Whether this is the enrollment process, getting them entered into the student information system, getting them rostered into applications, getting them in the nutrition system, the bus system, really anything that they need to be in, they don't have the access they need and they're forced to wait because of processes not aligning together. So from an equity perspective, the disruption, delay of that access prevents a student from getting what they need to have an equitable learning experience. So what happens in a lot of districts today? As a former teacher myself, this was something that I experience all the time. The Band-Aid approach is we just scramble to make it work, get them what they need. When I was a teacher, there was a lot of just sharing passwords so that kids could get in to access what they need. From a security standpoint, that is absolutely horrible and dangerous, but it's what you need to do to accomplish the objective of getting the kid access to their learning materials. One of the things that a lot of districts have to take on is manual processes to make sure that every student gets what they need. This could be uploading, creating, and uploading CSV files. This could be going in and manually creating accounts in Active Directory and Office 365 and Google. The manual processes get stuff done, but it's really, really hard to govern those and ensure security, which is the last point. So any type of manual intervention, any type of ad hoc process is difficult to deliver in a secure manner to get that immediate access that is required. So at Identity Automation, we have a platform called RapidiD. And what we do is we are a security tool that is meant to be a frictionless experience for your teachers, your students, your staff, and for your parents. So as soon as a student is enrolled, they get access to every single program that's associated with the courses that they have, with their demographic information. They are put into the devices they need. They have access to email. All of that happens on day one so that there is no interruption learning and they just show up. It's the equivalent of you hand them a pencil and a sheet of paper. They're ready to learn right on day one. From an equity perspective, the student's able to join the class with equitable access to everything that they need, regardless of any type of demographic information about them. They have what they need. From a personalization standpoint, there is long-term ramifications around using the identity to personalize instruction, but being able to personalize and individualize the pathways for how they access the materials they need is also important. An 18-year-old AP student does not need to have the same login process as a second grader. Based on who the individual is, based on what they're accessing, there should be things that are more securely locked down and things that are easier to just pass on and be through. So with little kids, using things like a pictograph or a QR code on a badge to be able to get them access is really important. With Rapid Identity, you automate your ecosystem to make sure that everything works and everything works in a secure manner so that it's there when it needs to be there for how long it needs to be there. So this is the complete digital identity lifecycle from an enrollment period or a hiring period if it's an employee, all the way to unenrollment or leaving the district as an employee. So we manage access, we manage credentials, we provide self-service, delegation, and administration of all of their digital identities, and any type of changes that happen for them, we can automate all of those changes for you. We'll hop on real quick. So we provide immediate access, individualized needs, and it can be modified at any time with your automated processes to connect across the organization. The big thing is we want to lend automation to personalize for each of your individual learners the pathway to have instruction that they need. And that's really what we're about at Identity Automation, and that's what our product is meant to do. Again, it's trying to strike the balance between security and user experience with a frictionless experience for the individual that is appropriate for them. So these are for your students, these are for your teachers, but it's also for your staff, your administrators, your employees. It's also for your parents, and it's also for any external third parties who may be coming in, volunteers, any visitors from outside the district that need temporary access in a secure standpoint. That's what we handle. We do identity provisioning, we do authentication, so single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, we do rostering, we do identity governance. And one of the things that we do that is very interesting, we have a new product called Safe ID. And what that does is all of your digital identities that are managed by Rapid Identity are evaluated using the best-in-class service known as Spy Cloud to make sure that none of their identities have been compromised in data breaches. And if any of them show up in a data breach at the time of the event, you are automatically notified and given automated abilities to remediate those accounts. So while their identity shows up, so that's both their email, their username, their password, if all of those show up in a data breach, that user can automatically be enrolled in a multi-factor authentication policy until their password gets reset, at which point they can only reset it to a password that has not been compromised. And where districts have been seeing a lot of value in that component is from cybersecurity insurance. The premiums have gone incredibly high, and things like Safe ID, things like multi-factor authentication are security measures that can help drive down that cost, keep you insured, and protect you against account takeover and ransomware attacks, while also not impeding the progress of the instructional side for the students in the classroom. So, Lonnie, that is at my time. I will pass the mic back over.
So it's powerful. Okay.
You are muted.
Can you hear me, Carter? Because I was just told I was muted.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay. All right, good. So yeah, very powerful, timely from a security perspective, obviously really important. Also, I think the market is evolving to that, looking at the whole identity of the child as a lifelong sort of thing, rather than account provisioning only. So it's a powerful message. Thank you very much for sharing.